Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Paint Desk Ramblings. I'm joined tonight by two wonderful guests. We have back on the show, it's Squigkikka. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me again. I'm surprised.
No, I think we have had a really great time last time with chatting about the Orcs and Goblins and all that. It was nice. So, very, very, very happy to have you. And you're also joined by first time on the show and a member of the Essence of War team, and also quite known for his homebrew project. Sadly, with the camera frozen at the moment. We'll see if we can get that working.
I can be very still. Maybe I'm just
yeah, master the art of invisibility. We have Idum. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and thank you for the invite.
Happy to have you. So I mentioned your homebrew project. Do you wanna chat about that?
Yeah, I can have a few words on it. So it's based on Swandan, and so draws inspiration from Middle Age China between maybe 10th to 13th century, with quite a lot of supernal elements, dragons, and this kind of things.
Yeah.
It's quite advanced. The entries are fixed, but there are still quite a lot of design changes lately. So I've put a new version up last Saturday, and probably a new one in 1 month from now.
All right, keeping it updated, nice. Yeah, I've had a brief look at it, and it looked really cool. I'm a bit interested in that part of the fluff myself, collecting the terracotta army. So it's cool to see that the living side also gets some attention.
I have some of the models from the same studio actually, from Watchful.
Yeah, they are awesome. I really like their stuff.
It's perfect for a terracotta army for UD.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess perfect for your project as well, doing armies.
Of course.
Do you have an army painted for it?
No.
Or you have plans for it at least?
I bought it.
Yeah.
Just there, it's a lot of models from Zenith Miniatures and Watchful AI.
Yeah.
And a few homemade ones.
Cool.
Right.
Hope to see some of that someday then. So that's cool. All right. Moving on to the topic for tonight, somewhat related perhaps to homebrew projects, because we will be talking about sub-factions tonight. Doing a little bit of brainstorming about what future sub-factions we can imagine for in the game of the Ninth Age. So at the moment we have the Ostlanders, the Makar, the Cultists, and we know that we're getting Hobgoblins and Monos in as well. And but yeah, then there's a lot of more armies than that out there, and we know that they will be getting 2 supplementary armies each. That's been stated by the project. So we're just gonna do some brainstorming and see what that could look like. So we have 13 factions with with both slots open, and the Infernal Dwarfs have 1 slot open. So we will dive into that and see if we can come up with some ideas for all of the armies, if time allows it at least. Before we get into all of that though, we have the Hobby Spotlight. So what are you working on? Let's start with Squig.
Well, I'm not painting at the moment. I'm actually drawing. I'm actually drawing with, like a Wacom, so I'm pretending to be professional about it.
Yeah.
I'm not very good. I mean, the Wacom is great. I'm not very good. I'm drawing a dwarf, and as luck would have it, a Runekeeper, and the Runekeeper is the lord of my own homebrew project I posted yesterday.
Oh, sorry, I did not notice that. Then
Don't worry.
By all means, go into detail about that. I want to hear about this.
I will later, but
all right.
I'm just working on drawing something, and it's just like calling it a homebrew is a bit rich, but it's ideas for a new dwarf book, more like it.
Okay, cool.
You can see a Runekeeper by the end of this.
All right, awesome. Looking forward to it. What about you, Idum?
So I'm working currently on Mongrels for the Essence of War Beast Herds.
Yeah.
5 at a time now.
Nice.
And for the Cravenland campaigns, I try to paint a little musician. So it's not exactly a beast musician, but well, there's a beast and there's a tambourine, so it works.
Could you bring it up to the screen again? It lagged a bit there. Let's see it.
It's
all right. Yeah, it's
far from finished.
Looks like a bear.
Looks very
It is. It's a bear shower from a games auction.
All right, cool.
Old one, quite old.
Yeah, nice. I seem to recall having seen that in the past. Never got it, but cool. All right. For myself, I'm still working on my Imperial Guard. Let's see here. This is the guy I'm currently working on. For you.
Imperial Guard. I was like, oh yes, for the
So
king,
you have
of course. You know,
so you got a halfling, and what is this one? It's ogre size or?
This is an orc. So I have every kind of species in my army.
Very inclusive.
Except elves. No one likes elves.
It wasn't like I said, it's like very inclusive, and I'm like, no elves.
Exactly. I do accept dwarves, but I draw the line at elves. So yeah, I started working on this unit during the last live stream. So that's 2 weeks ago, and painted up 20 of them by now. So now I'm working on one of the 2 unit fillers on 40 by 40 base, and this particular one has an orc, a dwarf, and a human, and I'll be focusing on the dwarf during this show. We'll see how it goes. If I finish him, I'll start working on the other 2. I have the dwarf over here. You can see him drinking some beer.
Nice.
And just a bog standard human as well.
Boring.
Yeah, boring. The orc is from Warmonger miniatures. They have some awesome orcs with Landsknecht uniform. So perfect for my army. All right, let's go on to the news. Then I'm gonna share my screen with you too. There we go. You should be able to see my screen now. So
Primal Rage.
The first bit of news is Primal Rage, a Kickstarter. From Headhunter Miniatures. It's gonna start on the 30th of April, I believe, and they are doing a pretty big range of orcs and goblin miniatures. You can see some of them here. So they have common orcs and feral orcs and iron orcs and a whole bunch of goblins and a lot of the monsters as well, and some war machines. So pretty much the entire range. And they are doing.
What is this one?
This one?
Kind of tower.
Oh yeah, Primal Rage.
Yeah, the tower is a scrap wagon. I think it's a lot smaller than it looks in this image.
Okay.
So, but yeah, pretty cool. Would work in a maybe as a in an Infernal Dwarf army, I think. Going for a more ramshackle look.
It's a nice take. It's a unit I could never really picture out how it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. And a cool giant and a great green idol and a spider. So quite a lot of stuff. I'll include a link down below. I think it might be difficult to find because it hasn't launched yet. They announced this on the Night Age site. So
It's looking really great.
Yeah, I'm considering it.
And
I think it's you can both pledge for getting the STL files or for resin prints. Everything is prints now, it seems. So yeah, then we have from Avatars of War, they have released a White Lord. Let's see if we can get a bigger picture, somewhat bigger picture.
Oh, Avatars of War.
So they released a whole bunch of new undead character models, but this is one I thought was the coolest.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like the pose on this one.
Great. I love them a lot.
Yeah.
Do you hear that, everyone? No, but they are I've gotten so much. Like the dwarf models they have are amazing, and so are the goblins and orcs. So
yeah,
they're always almost always fantastic miniatures.
Yeah, and speaking of dwarves, they've also restocked their rangers. They've been out of stock for a very long time, but now they are in stock again,
for sure.
and they have a sale for the first 50 boxes. That is, they.
Wait, where? Oh,
So-
what?
Yep.
I better be motherfucking quick. Okay.
Some really cool models. Plastic multi-part, not the standard injected molded plastic. I think it's separate bits and PVC, but still, so more like resin, I think. But really cool models.
Oh, for sure. And they're the only cool. They are. As an unbiased dwarf player, I really love the dwarf models. They are amazing.
Yeah.
To be honest, they are like.
I
Good
must
luck getting seekers and rangers or whatever elsewhere, pretty much.
Yeah, I must admit that I actually bought one of their dwarf character models just because it was so cool. I haven't painted it up yet, but I will.
Oh no! Painting is not part of the hobby, dude. Buying is. Don't worry.
Yeah, the pile of shame is.
If I had to paint everything, that'd be awful, dude.
I mean, I think I'm having a pretty good record on keeping up the painting, but I seem to be buying at an even quicker pace. So I don't know. It's
that's how it works. That's how it is.
I think I have years worth of paint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
the pile of shame.
Thing away. I don't have to look at it. Jesus Christ, you know.
But that's the purpose of this show. We get to chip away at it. At least if you try to. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I'm drawing stuff. I'm not doing very good at chipping away, but
That's still good hobby. All right, moving on to next bit of news from Mom Miniatures, MOM. Never know how to pronounce that. They've released some fire oxen. They are pumping out new stuff at the moment. It seems every time I go and check their site, there's like a bunch of new models released. But these caught my attention. So yes, some burning boars.
And they're going with infernal dwarves, or
I would use them for that probably, like maybe as the beasts for their chariots.
The Kadims or something.
Yeah, Kadim chariot. I think they would be cool as. But yeah, with enough imagination, you can use them for anything in the army, I guess. Like yes, unit fillers perhaps in a Lugar unit could be cool.
For sure.
And they also released a Chaos Giant, which I think would be awesome for a favor giant in Warriors of the Dark Gods.
Yeah, that sounds very metal-y boy, that is.
Yeah. really.
It's kind of hard to tell how big he is. Is he like a normal giant, so to speak?
Here we have some.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, he's a big lad, all right.
Yep, he's a big lad. I have one of their other giants, the Imperial one, and he looks fine next to other giants. He's a big guy, and I think this one is roughly the same size. So yeah, that's it for the miniature news. I can stop sharing and see if I can get the cameras working again. They keep freezing, but I have a trick to revive them. All right. Let's move on to some other news. The Ninth Age released new Infernal Dwarfs, an update to their. It's the third beta, I think, and quite a lot of changes. Have you seen these?
Yes, I've had a peek. I can't quite remember all of the old stuff. I remember some key things, and also I guess made some changes to the rulebook that affects Infernal Dwarfs a lot, I believe.
Did it change the rulebook?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when, but they made it so the Relentless banner can't be used to march and shoot, for example.
Oh.
Yes, it was at the yearly
Yeah.
yearly review, because now it's not part of the rulebook anymore.
Yeah. That's true.
Oh, okay. You see how outdated I am, you know.
Yeah, but with no tournaments going on and all of that, I really can't blame you. I think I had missed that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, because so that changes a lot of things for them, I think, because they, as far as I know, unless they changed it, a lot of these weapons could be used to march and shoot, and that was a big thing with them, I believe.
Yeah, but I think they removed a lot of the march and shoot stuff from the book.
Yeah, it's on the blunderbuss now.
Yeah,
it seems to be.
And like the blunderbuss was one of the big changes. It only fires the strong shot now, but it hits on 5 up instead of 3 up most of the time, and it ignores pretty much every modifier.
Not really. I mean, it's like does not suffer negative to hit modifier from stand and shoot. That's it.
No, it's I think it's accurate and quick to fire.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but still, at least distracting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
cover.
Yeah. There's still some of the things, but a lot of the times it will hit on 5 up.
I like that. I mean, if I remember correctly, the old one, the old blunderbuss was really contrived. I think it was something like stuff and round up half the unit.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool, but this is so much easier. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
They also changed.
I think they've done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Done better work in slimming some of the rules and some of the complexity a bit. That was a bit much.
Yeah, they removed the ammunitions from the artillery, and rebalanced some of the weapons as well. I think they are all back +1 strength and +1 AP, all of the artillery weapons, and the artillery platform doubles the range instead of just adding 6-inch range. So it's and I think the range was reduced to like 18 or 12 for most other things. So yeah, quite a lot of changes actually. And
for the artillery, I think there's also something that it reduces the movement of the unit it hits.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I really like this concept as well. It reminds me a bit of the very old dwarves and machines that could hamper a little the movement phase of the enemy.
Yeah, that's true. That's cool. They also made the weapon teams a war platform, so you can join units.
Yeah. That's gonna be hard to get. I think it makes sense. I kind of like that more.
Yeah.
So they don't like move around out and about and are like little weirdly mobile gun platforms that like jog around and shoot people with big guns. That always look weird. I mean, it's not it's not like rules wise awful, but always felt like the way they were used was kind of weird. Like they would scoot around a corner like a millimeter and look out and shoot.
Yeah.
Having a unit carry with them makes more sense. I think.
Yeah,
It's good. I like that change.
I think it will look really cool as well, having them in units.
Yeah.
So that's neat.
I think so. Like my plan is to have like a Dwarven character like slinging spells, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just gonna respond to a comment we got on the show.
You got a comment?
Yeah, we already have a comment. Amazing, I know. The miniature I'm painting is from Warmonger miniatures. It's been converted slightly to have a sword instead of a spear, and I'm painting it up to be an Imperial Guard for my 9th Age army. I forgot to mention this during the Hobby Spotlight section, but if you're watching this live, please let us know what you're working on if you're painting during the show, and if you're watching later the video later, then please let us know in the comment. That's always interesting to see. Moving on with the Infernal Dwarves. Volcanic Embrace was changed to like the metal shifting thing almost. It wounds against. It takes the armor of the target and uses that as strength.
Yeah, it went full opposite. It went from like no armor piercing strength to full armor piercing kill shit.
Yeah, I think it's AP 5 or 4.
4, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, that's something like that. So not like complete removal, but very high. So that's cool. And the Kadim Titan got changed a bit. The colossal upgrade of the tank got moved to the Titan instead. So you can have a shooting version of the Titan with artillery weapons, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that the some personality. Before it was just like a big stat block you put down, and then he just
Yeah. It like in the last book, it didn't even have any unique special rules.
I don't know, like
I think it +1
2+
to wound.
Aegis divine attacks.
Yeah, but that's just on his profile. But I think it had +1 to wound on the Volcanic Embrace. That was the only unique thing.
It was really boring.
Yeah, it was pretty boring. And the Lugars changed a lot as well. They lost Pact of Fire and Opposition Research and Lethal Strike, but gained extra strength and extra AP and a special magic resistance as well.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I faced.
They got the stuff that you cannot stand and shoot against them also.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of the old Lugars, and they were nasty. So I'm not too sad about this.
I think my main problem with them was just the old rule where they were like, "Oh yes, we are lawyers, so now you have to deploy 1 unit of yours and then also lose a scout."
I think that rule was pretty cool.
Really weird,
actually, but it was a bit of a. Yeah, it has. No. I think what they should have done is just remove the anti-scout part of it, because that's really just mean.
I don't know.
It's one of those. It creates a bit of negative play experience because you are removing interactivity. The opponent had their cool ability and you just no.
Fuck it. With it, I mean, sorry. There we go.
So.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but I think that's about it. All my thoughts on the new Infernal Dwarves. I think it looks like a good update overall.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it looks nice. I like that they also removed some of that weirdly. Like one of the biggest gripes was the they call it Lamasu. Was like, oh, here's a coin flip spell.
Yeah.
Maybe this better, maybe not.
Yeah.
It added nothing to the game. I like this more. I still think it's so arbitrary to me that it's pointless to make, kinda.
You mean this choosing an extra spell or an extra channel?
Just give him one of them or something. Like they,
I
mean,
think
the choice doesn't really make. It's not a very. It's not like it's not an interesting choice to make. I feel like it's not like
I've
like
actually been
yeah.
I faced against it once, and my reaction was, "Wow, I really don't know what I want to give you." This is it was surprisingly hard to make that choice. I think
Yeah, but it's like, why even make it a choice? Like, why make it a thing? I don't know.
I think it's neat.
I think it's a nice addition. It fits the. Well, I think that's the idea, to make you think. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, it makes them a bit weird, and I think that's just the purpose. They are
I don't know.
meant to be weird.
I just like. I wish the dwarf player could choose what they wanted, and they can go with that. So
Yeah, but
like a small gripe with stuff that adds extra stuff to like complexity to the army when it doesn't
yeah,
actually add a lot to the.
Mm.
Why would I have to pick this special?
yeah, maybe.
Issue now that Infernal Dwarfs are less extra special rules that you have to learn about them. So it sticks out less.
Maybe. All right, let's move on to the last bit of news I have, which is the new background supplement that was released, Beauty and Terror, a Red Elf background supplement. And I don't think this is comparable to the Circling the Abyss and the Epic of Kipotesh. It doesn't seem to be written in the same style. It's more informative, less story, I guess. But it was pretty neat. Some cool information about the gods of the elves, stuff like that. They had a nice little chart over it, and the last stream I did was about the elves, the elven gods, and it seems I got most things right at least. So that's good, and interesting timing as well. Did you see any of this?
No, I thought it was just a teaser for the thing, so I
Yeah,
didn't click on it.
it was that was my first impression too. Like the information and drop and in the news was really poorly done there. I think it. Yeah.
Well, until right now, I still thought it was a teaser also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's strange rumors. I was like, okay, I'll wait for the rumors to be confirmed. I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, must have been some sort of mess up in communication, I guess.
That's on me.
But yeah, it was a neat background supplement. I seen it, some pushback on it, that it sort of breaks the immersion a little bit.
In which way?
A big part of the story is a Red Elf like talking with his cousin, and they talk about things that should be obvious to them, but they talk about it in a way that makes it seem that it's not obvious to them.
Hello, cousin. Have you heard of our gods, the pantheon that we talk?
Yeah.
Like the three gods. Bop, 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 bop. Okay,
A bit like it's about the politics of the nation, but yeah, you got the exact problem there.
Hello, Mad Hat. I am writing on my computer that I use every day. The cube, okay, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure that the information got out there. It's not.
It's
I can see why immersion maybe took a hit, but
yeah. It was informative at least, but the story was not as good as a lot of their other stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's good. Like at least like sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes down.
Yep.
That's cool.
Think they will still get their own more cooler background supplement, like the Epic of Kipotesh, but I'm not sure. I'm hopeful for it at least.
Hopefully, it's not someone narrating it in that case, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But those two, like the Circling Abyss and the Epic of Kipotesh, were really, really good. So I hope they do something similar to that for the Dragons.
Cool.
All right. I think that's all I have for the news. Shall we move on to the main segment?
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we should preface this by stating that none of us work on these supplements. We are just outside observers, and we're just speculating on what could come next. We have no inside information on this. At least I don't have. But I don't know about you.
Wish I had some.
Yeah, I can only see the Hobgoblin as the next announcement. That's
Yeah.
all.
I'm really looking
But
forward
if we
to
suddenly
that.
see a supplement that's like, oh, Chinese miniatures, it's like, oh, maybe Cedric has something to do with this, perhaps, you know?
No.
Yeah. All right. So since we're already on the topic of Infernal Dwarfs, and since they are the only army that only has one slot left, I thought we could start with them. And I can kick us off. So, like the Hobgoblins is the one that we know of, and that's like a specific culture, more or less, within the Infernal Dwarfs. Like they're vassals, and let's say it's not like a specific region, but it's a specific type of vassal that they are focusing on. And maybe the next supplement could also be focusing on a kind of vassal. Not sure what kind, but maybe. I also thought that maybe they could focus on a specific citadel instead. Like take one of the more remote citadels, perhaps, that's more different from the others, and give a book of that. That would be more along the lines of the Makar or Ostlander book.
I was thinking that maybe instead of going for like a vassal, pick a specific supplement that is a book about the type of force used to smash down revolutions among vassals. You know, like a police force or like a.
Yeah. I guess
so
that
like
would.
you got all these like
Yeah.
you know the Taurok commissioners and then
Yeah.
like the cavalries and like the kind of the police aspect of it. You know, like so you have the hobgoblins and they, yeah, you know, they're there, but you know they probably smash down more like revolutions and uprisings than they do like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that could be a cool thing, and really focus on the Taruks. I think then, as you said, would make.
Because I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but would make for a bit of a difference from the normal Infernal Dwarfs with being more cavalry focused.
Yeah, and also, you know, like I think that'd be cool because it's like a cavalry army-ish. It has to be quick. It's going out there and smash some faces in.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it looked. Maybe it would be like pretty magic light, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like focus on the chariots. Like I don't know. I'm not. I don't know how informed dwarves play these days. Like I know they are infantry, but they've got so many non-infantry that maybe it's not actually an infantry army any longer. I don't know.
And if I remember well, in the Infernal Dwarf full books, they do speak about some kind of commissioners who have this type of role, like questioning, investigation, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Torok commissioner, the big guy. So absolutely. And then they have the upgrades for taking both the prophet and the overlord as a Tarok version as well. So those would be mandatory in this one, I guess. I wonder if like another way to go could be to make it a church specific book, so like a Lugar book or a Shamut or Nesplikesh. So focusing on either one of those, or make it like a general churches. What's the name of the pantheon? Vaneb or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
It would be like the god type
Yeah,
creatures for them.
sort of like the monosyn book, I imagine, like with like it's one book, but it has 4 different paths you can take for each of the different church, perhaps, and like focus in more on the fanatical aspect of their worship, if there is such a thing. Got a comment saying they were hoping for a tank supplement for every army, as if April Fool's joke.
I mean, that could be a thing for dwarves, like very mechanized.
Fully mechanized. That could be one of the things for a specific citadel, like the most mechanized citadel could get a book instead. So yeah, that could work.
That guy should go play 40k instead. Is what I'm thinking.
No, the Night Edge has room for everything. It's a big world.
Maybe not a tank supplement. Maybe not that. Maybe not that.
Right.
If you ask me. But a chariot one, that could be for sure. But maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Right.
when big turrets get involved. I get nervous. I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the Infernal Dwarfs. Unless you have any extra ideas.
No. And we have. Oh, sorry, Cedric. You looked at you had something on your mind.
No, that's all. I don't know that much the Infernal Dwarf, also like the Lost Ziggurat and the relation. I have no idea how.
Oh, like maybe something about like is focusing extra on the Kadim and the Inferno and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it could go in the church theme as well.
Yeah, could. Like the Lugar are the masters of binding Kadim, so the Lugar church would be good at that, I guess.
Yeah. But I reckon we got like 15 more books ish, or 14 books to go for. So we might as well proceed, I reckon.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Do any excuse me? Do any of you want to make a pick for an army?
I'd love to hear what Cedric has in mind.
We can. So still staying in the quite mechanized army, I was thinking of the Zonstadt Empire.
All right. What's your thought?
This one? Well, an obvious one would be Volskaya.
I think I think that's an obvious one, but for a different faction.
Oh, really? You think of Aquitaine?
Yeah, like Aquitaine and Volskaya have an alliance in the fluff. They're
Makes sense.
So I think that should be a supplement for
by real world history. It makes sense.
Yeah. All right. That went by me, but I'm not that well read up on history. But I guess being
you can't be like, hey, we can't be like, Cedric, tell us your supplement for Empire. And it's like, no, that's for Britain. You know.
Emil just shoot you down.
Tell us about it, Cedric. Damn it! Now it's for EOS. Tell us about it, please.
All right. Then let's pivot and go into this awesome Aquitaine supplement that you have in mind.
Well, the thing is, why I would see it more as the Empire of Zonstadt supplement actually is that I don't see them as a full horse army, where Aquitaine probably tends to be more.
Yeah, but the winged lancers are a big part of Volskaya. So
yeah.
I think that there's definitely a big horse element to them, and horse archers perhaps too. But yeah, I guess they would have to invent a lot of infantry units for it. That's doable.
Well, their proximity to Zonstadt could allow as well more exchange of like guns, this kind of stuff.
Yeah. That could be. One thing I want to bring up here as well is a thought that I had, and that was, and this would enrage the community so much, but instead of doing it like this, we take the Aquitaine book and the Zonstadt book and merge them, make the humans of Vetia our army book instead, and then we do supplements for Aquitaine and for Sonnenstall, which would be more akin to like the elves and the dwarves and stuff like that.
I mean,
So-
I think that would be fine. I think a decent amount of people would be fine with that. I think.
Yeah, but I think the forum
Yeah.
would explode.
Yeah,
Maybe.
pretty sure.
You're right. It probably will explode a bit.
Yeah, all right. But back to Volskaya. What do we like? Obviously, winged lancers would be part of it too. Beer cavalry,
Of course.
of course.
Of course.
Yeah. I think that's a slam dunk.
Wow, just both players sad already. Not getting any beer cavalry. All right.
We'll get to them perhaps in due time. All right. So, shall we make this branch out into both Sonnenstall and Aquitaine at Wild here? Because I had another idea for Sonnenstall.
Do tell.
If Aquitaine and Volskaya get Volskaya, then Sonnenstall would get Destria, is my thought. So Spanish inspired
that's
army.
Okay.
But how would that be like gameplay wise?
Maybe that could be like a mercenary type army. Destra is part of the Iron Crowns, or some of their cities are. So I guess like pretty similar, like infantry focused humans with some cavalry, but then maybe some like ogre units and some other mercenary stuff could work.
Yeah, it makes me think also, looking at the map, we see that the Sonnenstall has some settlement on Silexia, so it could be like a conquistador theme or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good take.
Cedric, when you said looking at the map, like, do you have a map in front of you, or do you just remember the word from memory?
Right now, it's from memory, but wait.
Damn, that's really. I was like, holy shit, this guy knows his fucking 9-page fluff. Damn.
Yeah, but I think they have a colony in
There is.
called Fredericksburg. Is it?
You have the map under the eyes, don't you?
I do not. I'm painting. I'm working on this guy.
I do. I have the map just here. You're right.
But I think Destria also has a colony over there. So that's also the Conquistador field.
Yes. Correct.
But yeah, that could be a cool theme as well. Like really going deep on the Conquistador. That's nice.
Going wild on the natives, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out like what would that mean like gameplay wise? Would you have like
raptors?
Maybe like some. Would you have like some weird like Imperial Guard but with blunderbusses kind of thing, or would you have like super stereotypical like Don Quixote, almost like people on donkeys running around, or like I don't know, like what would you define as? Like, are we going full Pocahontas? We just have people looking really like super mean and kill all the Native Americans? No. Like what kind of like feel do you want to be? Is it like adventure?
I think there's some story about them using Saurians as slaves in those colonies. So maybe
that could be a good thing.
They could have a slave unit of Saurians in the army, but I think they had trouble with like keeping them in line because they are just really weird. Those lizards.
Like maybe like that's what I mean. Though. Like, are we going like full on conquer, or like maybe they actually have like a cooperation with the Saurians in some way or another? You know, like because that might be more friendly for the project, I guess. If they're like, hey, maybe we can be buddies for once instead of everyone having a slave unit, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would rather have this kind of cooperation as well. It's true that the slave thing is used.
I think it's because slave design is always like, oh, we have to make them. They can't be better than the troops, or they, like. But if you have cooperation, they can make more interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think it could be cool if like even you guys.
Good call. Like,
I mean,
you're
the
breaking up.
idea of like, perhaps like as an example, like I don't know, I can't remember the story on lore too much, but I like the idea of maybe there's an offshoot cult or like offshoot splinter part that is like, oh, we'll work with the humans to get a foothold or get have a way or whatever.
They're like I said that the lizards are weird, and that's really the case. Like they show up and give fruit to people and help them in times of need, and so I don't think it's that impossible to have like an alliance with them, at least temporarily. So yeah, definitely a possibility. That would be a really cool army, I think, like conquistadors and lizards.
Yeah, I mean, because imagine like if you're a painter, themes like plate and sorrow scales and that kind of thing, like a lot of colors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it would also like work pretty well with their approach of making a lot of the supplements like pick from different books, and like the cultist, you can, if you have a demon army and you have any other army, then boom, you have a cultist army as well.
Yeah, and if you like an utopian Jurassic Park, there you go. So you can imagine something different.
Yeah, that's a good call. All right. Anything else for Sonstal or Equitane?
I
For
did
Sonstal,
have. Oh well.
yeah, go on.
I had an idea for Sonstal, but it's kind of the same. It's a similar idea to what I had with the Highborn Elves. So I'm actually gonna stick to the Highborn Elves and save it.
Yep, sounds cool.
For Sonstal, I had thought briefly about the Church of Suna or stuff like that, but I don't see what more we could do with that theme instead of what we already have in the army.
Yeah, I was also like thinking it, like what can we do with Suna? Like, maybe more flagellants, maybe more priests.
but
more inquisitors.
Yeah. But Church of Suna,
we're really like cynical. We're like, oh yes.
but it doesn't really feel that unique, I think. Which is, like
exactly.
You can do most of it just with the normal Empire book.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
mean, it's like
if I were to do
a supplement, that would push it. Zip.
I think we have some lag, so
yeah, there's a bit.
No, I'm just talking wherever you
are. But like doing, if you were to do a such an army with just a normal book, like doing militia in core, a lot of flaglands, and some prelates and inquisitors, and you're pretty much there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and so, are we doing the Equitane supplement as well right now?
Yeah, we merged the armies. More or less. No, but we're jumping around between those two, yeah. So shoot, if you had any ideas.
Yeah, for Equitane, actually, I think there's a settlement near Cassar, which could give a cool alliance between Cassari and Equitanians.
Yeah, like maybe you could just get a Cassar supplement from that. Like that would be awesome.
I would say Cassar needs a full army by itself, but
yeah.
Which faction is that? Is that the?
That's like the Arabic. Faction.
That'd be super cool, actually. I'm just wondering.
Equitane does have a settlement there, which is Port Reno.
Where would you get the models though?
That's not. That's of no concern.
No, but it's slightly concerned. Like you want to have it like. I'm sure there's like.
I think Shield Wolf Miniatures are working on something like that, an Arabic army, but it could have been like 40k themed, so maybe not.
I've seen Titan Forged. The ones who do the Dragon Empires, they do have a range for that as well.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because I reckon there must be some Middle Eastern models out there somewhere, surely.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there are. I'm sure of it.
'cause that's a good idea, actually. That's really cool.
And you mentioned they should get a full army book, and maybe that's better. But I think it's gonna be a very long while before we start to see any more than this
true.
16. And I think maybe that the Ninth Age will want to like appease that part of the community who wants more factions by releasing sub factions instead. Which is what I think.
I was gonna say, because it's like at this glacial pace, like the time the last book is updated, the first one to be updated is gonna be ancient, pretty much. So supplement is the way to go for new stuff, I think.
Yeah. So that's what why I mentioned doing a like a mercenary army for Destria and keeping that to Empire of Zornstall could be an option to get the Iron Crowns in play in the game, sort of, at least. Okay, we're getting some corrections from Marco in the comments. The Khazar are Maghreb inspired. So more like Almoravids and stuff. Okay, I get. Sure, that doesn't ring any bells with me. Sorry.
I'm too ignorant. Written on the maps, they have their own settlements over the north.
Yeah. All right.
That could be a very good supplement, definitely. And another one I had in mind for Equiten was maybe something more focused about the I don't know the English word, brigands. It's kind of outlaw, a little like Robin Hood or this kind of idea.
Yeah, and they
talked a few fallen knights, and
they've talked about that in the guidelines for the next Equitane book, that they will have like a pretty big focus on that.
If it's already covered, perfect.
But I think it could definitely be room for that for a supplement, like a archer themed thing could work. Definitely. All right. Shall we move on to another army?
Sure
Squig,
thing.
do you want to make a pick?
I can go with like the big guns directly, and I'll say dwarves, Dwarven holds. Here we go. I suggest. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm really glad you picked those, because I had very few ideas for the dwarves.
Same here.
What do you mean? They're wellspring of ideas. Okay, my friend.
All right.
I actually had like 2 ideas.
Yeah.
There's this really cool guy on the forums. He posted something called the Dwarven Runekeepers. I don't know if you guys saw that. I don't know, like a day ago. No, basically, so. The supplement I like to see in this case is going, it's basically an army based around runic magic and runes and that kind of stuff. So I'm playing a bit fast and loose with the dwarf fluff. I know. So I know the dwarfs of the Dwarven have a really strong in Knife Age.
Say that again. A really strong.
A very strong oral tradition. Like they have a lot of like talking and singing and tales and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, and so no, I'm gonna start over again. So basically, a supplement that is about song, as in like not like but more like imagine deep-throated singing and chanting, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And speaking the secret names of the world, like the true names of things. I don't know if you're familiar with that kind of fluff and story and concept, but
yeah, it's fairly common in fantasy.
Yeah, so my idea is that the dwarves are very in tune with knowing like the secret words of the making and secret words and the songs of the creation of the world, that kind of thing, and they capture it in runes and in songs. So the army I made rules for and suggested is basically this: the entire army has this rune magic that seeps through it, and they focus. They don't have kings. They don't have really fight the characters, but they have all this rune magic, and every unit It's like has runecraft armor, and I mean, I realize the way I suggest the supplement is less fluff based in that sense and more like rules based. But
Yeah, that's fine.
I like the idea of an army of dwarves that is completely suffused with magic and chanting theme, especially if if you watch The Hobbit, you have all these like dwarf.
I haven't.
What the fuck? What the shit? Wow, dude. Okay, you asked me to come on here, like, oh hey, he's Dwarven Halls creator, Squig. Fucking dwarves, what are they anyway?
Yeah, but it sounds
I'll
cool.
link you afterwards. Don't worry.
It sounds cool. Like dwarves are very not magic focused at the moment, so like
No.
going deep on that sounds interesting.
Yeah, and also really like creating early big runic focus, like runic selection, runic stuff, and so you feel that they are like expert craftsmanship. Like if in front dwarves are the experts of mass production or like producing stuff that's big, well then the dwarves are at least the ones who craft it best or craft it with the most, I don't know, expertise, perhaps, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, like tradition and age-old methods.
Yeah, but maybe it could be new stuff as well. Like I'm not. They aren't necessarily all grumpy, traditionalists. They don't have to be. I mean, they could be. That's because that's how I assign them, I guess.
Yeah.
But they could be new thing about it. It's just that I like the idea that they are very something that's different from the main art book, but still kind of in line with
their
identity in a way.
It sounds good. I like it. And you just talking about that actually got my gears turning. Or did you have another idea you wanna?
Yeah, but I'm gonna save time on it, and save a little bit of breath for the other armies. Basically, that's the main one. Like a Runekeeper army.
Yeah.
Big focus on selection of runes and that kind of thing.
All right, because this was a homebrew project of yours, and that got me thinking about another homebrew project about dwarves from a while back called the Northern Dwarves.
Yep.
Which was I think it was like themed around a specific keep up in the north.
Yep.
A specific hold, that is.
So bear mounts, for example.
Yeah, bear mounts for sure. Bear cavalry for the win. They will get them someday. Someday they will get them in some form. I'm sure.
Not if I have anything to say. I won't.
Excuse me.
No, I won't actually involve myself.
But yeah, I think that could be an option as well. Like take a specific hold that's a bit different from the others and focus on that. They have some holds like spread out. There's there was this It's Time for Africa thread. Also had a lot of stuff for like Ethiopian dwarves.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name, but he's super passionate about the Ethiopian dwarves. You should have had him on here instead, because he's commissioned art like left and right about it.
Like Karaknorm Klansman was involved in it too, and I want to have him on someday. He doesn't know about it yet, but he will. But I've tried to get Gisnuk on, but I think his internet connection is too bad.
Oh, that's a pity, because I really I'm personally not a fan of the look. Like it's so, but it's like it's not Dwarven for me, but it's really cool. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I think it's really inventive, and I like it's super cool. But I'm just so ingrained that it has to be snow, they have to be grumpy, and have mountains. Come on. But I think it's super creative, and I'm really curious, like what kind of society or like army that might look like, or how they would differ.
Yeah, I think it would be a really, really cool supplement.
Yeah, good luck finding models for it, though. That's a big part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think I have one more idea for the dwarves actually.
Oh yeah.
And that's the religious cult among the dwarves, the Seekers.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not enough to make a whole supplement army out of it, but it would be cool with a whole army of Seekers.
I mean, that's almost as some people play it already. So I don't know if that's like a thing.
Yeah, I remember fighting some armies like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had my share of those as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like the Seekers are I think the Seekers are problematic because they are so inspired by Warhammer Slayers, like in looks and everything. And I think and Slayers are really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh well, we need to make something cooler, or be inspired by other sources.
I think like fluff-wise, they have departed quite a bit, but
That's tricky.
Like aesthetics, perhaps.
Oh,
there is a little bit of art of it.
Oh yeah, I know the fluff for them, or at least the suggestion for it, which is that they are like people. They are like people who, if someone has been slighted and can't right the wrong themselves, the Seekers do it for them, kind of.
All right.
Ish. Something like that. Maybe someone in the comment will slap my fingers. But I think that's kind of lame, to be honest. Because it's like, why would you be naked?
The way I've heard it is that they are a religious cult. Like the dwarves in general, they are like agnostic. They don't have any gods. But in the olden days, in the old Dwarven Empire, they did worship gods, and the Seekers still keep to those. And like the Infernal Dwarves, they split apart and like maybe picked up other gods or morphed them into their current pantheon. But the Seekers still have the old gods. So if they really focus in on that, I think they could make something cool with it.
I was actually going to suggest that they be incorporated into my Runekeeper army suggestion, because the way I see it is Seekers would be in my suggested army.
All right.
Like self-motion 5,000. No, but it's like I imagine them more as people who are like so fully cultish or into the rune thing that they inscribe the runes on themselves. And that's why they are like more naked, or like they are covered in runes, and that protects them, and they would like.
And you want to show that off.
That way you can have different. Yeah, but it's like you can have different like cults of different runes for different cults. I don't know, like maybe something like that.
Yeah, no, that could work.
It's interesting,
sure.
Yeah.
And Marco is letting us know in the comments that the Seekers will be reimagined a bit.
I imagine so.
Facelift. All right.
But I mean, Dwarven Holt entirely should probably get a facelift, like big old facelift when the time comes.
Yeah, it's always difficult to predict that. I'm gonna leave the word to Idum to make a new pick, and I'm gonna take a sip of water.
So we're at dwarves. We can move to their enemies, or are they goblins and orcs?
Yeah.
So this one actually, I don't have so much, because of course we could specify more into either goblins or orcs, but that can already be done.
Yeah.
Can't it?
No, not enough. You're right, Cedric, but the hoops you have to jump through to make a goblin army viable is really annoying.
Yeah.
But you are completely correct. It's already there.
Yeah, but as we said, we don't know what they're gonna do with the army, so maybe they make the main book more orc focused, and then we get the goblin supplement. One thing that I thought about that actually was, like, in the main book, maybe you remove the goblin king option, and you remove all the goblin variants, so you just have goblins, and focus on the orcs, because the orcs have a lot of stuff in their fluff now with the aging process of the orcs, creating the ferals and the common and the iron orcs.
Do we know if they are the same species actually, orcs and goblins, or
they are like cousins? It's been described. They are kin, but they are not the same. And I I don't. Like we know how the orcs are born in these broods from the ground, but we don't know how anything about the goblins really. Maybe they are the same, maybe not.
I mean, I should mention to Cedric. Like, I play 2 factions. I play dwarves and I play goblins. You know, I completely
Goblins.
ignore pretty much. Yeah.
And you're working on hobgoblins pretending to be dwarves.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's I'm all in for that kind of thing. That's why I will always be insatiable for goblin specific stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest, like, I think Cedric has a really good point in that you can already make that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, you could make. I think a better supplement might be like, could you perhaps make an orc army that is highly disciplined in some way? Like, I don't know. Could you have like a black orc central elite army kind of thing?
Yeah.
Possibly. Or could you have like one that's focused on special aspect? Like you have some wolf chariots. Like, would you maybe make one like a speed kind of work army, like that's all about raiding and getting in and out, and have like raiding focused rules? Like,
Yeah.
once again, we go with all mounted, but like they have all the mounted stuff, and it could be like, I think an army that has literally no infantry could be interesting. Like, I mean, Kingdom of Equitane people are probably going to be raging, you know, like, because
Yeah, but we already have the Makar.
I mean, that's good.
And I think the hobgoblins are going to be
Yeah.
mostly mounted as well. So
Yeah,
like doing all mounted
That's true
seems to
enough.
be a thing for supplements. I think that's
Yep.
like it's a good place for a supplement to be because it's so difficult to balance, but the supplements don't care. They they don't have to be perfectly
Yeah.
balanced.
You know, I mean, if Knife Age was my pet project, I'd be like, oh yes, the Goblin supplement 1, 2, and 3. You know.
Yeah, I could like see if you imagine that the orc book stays more or less the same with a lot of different kinds of goblins and orcs and all of that, then maybe just focusing in on one specific type of goblin, and then my pick would be cave goblins. But that's just me. Could be an option, I think.
I think I would probably pick Forest Goblins from a fluff perspective because I think more new stuff can be done with it.
Yeah,
But from
that's
a modeling,
probably true.
Yeah, but from a modeling perspective, I go with cave goblins as well because there's more models that can help support that type of
With
army.
cave goblins, you could go more in the mushroom kind of thing with mushroom
Yeah.
men and this kind of.
Could you do a troll supplement? A whole troll army?
Isn't that kind of Warriors of Chaos Iron Book already in a way?
What?
I mean, aren't they really good at monster stuff? You know, like, wouldn't that be like
Yeah,
natural?
but like they're not trolls. I want all trolls.
Almost. Yeah? Like they have a tiny core, and then you get filled with trolls and chaos trolls and all kinds of trolls.
Yeah, but I want all trolls. Perhaps.
Yeah, I really like a mushroom army though, and there are a lot of models for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
That's the thing. It's so obvious. It's almost boring. Like how good a fit it is, kind of.
Speaking of mushrooms, I got we got a comment from Jon, a friend of mine, and he suggests that it should be a truffle seeker subfaction. The truffle seeker being the war pigs in skirmish campaigns. My own my own homebrew project.
There I go. I gotta get some self promotion in. Good stuff.
So yeah, of course, truffle seekers for sure.
Absolutely,
Okay.
we must have them.
All right.
It was hard to find one of them. There's many good options, almost too many good ones.
Yeah.
Problem because the base Orcs and Goblins Arm book is already so diverse, you know.
Yeah, that is an issue, which kind of makes me think that they will strip down a bit on the Orcs and Goblins, make it smaller.
Now that's gonna make people angry in the forums.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
but it wouldn't be like unheard of, like what happened with trolls, as we spoke of. A lot of people were angry that trolls were removed from the Wars of the Dark Gods, and then the trolls came back in Ostlanders, and you can still use the models as the wretched ones if you wanted to, or Forsworn, but I think wretched one is a better pick. and that's why I say that like maybe goblins more or less get shafted from the army and then put in a supplement.
I think that's kind of fine. Like the only problem is that then it becomes similar to Infernal Dwarves, which is like, oh, here's our
Yeah.
vassals,
Yeah,
the goblins.
agree.
You know?
That could be an issue. So, but maybe reduced in some way could be the way of it. All right. Shall I make a pick? Let's see.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Let's do an easy one. Undying Dynasties.
I feel that's actually kind of hard. And like Dynasties is like one of the armies I think is the most boring.
Well,
Why?
At least one's obvious, I guess. It's the terracotta.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'm. It has been discussed on the forums that they will remove terracotta and barrow legions from the main book and turn it into supplements, and I'm 1000% for that. I would love that.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
really hope they do that.
what would that mean, like gameplay wise? What would you get? Like, what's new?
Like
what?
you could focus in more on the specific aspects of these instead of just being Undying Dynasties with extra resilience or Undying Dynasties
Yeah,
with
but
better
it's
armor.
like
You could like take a closer look at the Suandan inspirations for the terracotta. So have like instead of amuts, they ride Fu statues, something like that, and have different rules for that. But gameplay wise, how they would differ. Slower, more resilient could still be the way to go, but you could really focus in on the different themes instead. I would also really
anything related with the like I don't know, demons, Yaoguais, this kind of stuff, or
yeah, and the Kirin, which is already in the fluff. For the Infernal Dwarfs, they encountered one of those. So like a winged, what was it, lizard thing?
It's a kind of it's between the unicorn or lizard.
With a human face, sort of a horse, winged horse with a human face, sort of thing, and intelligent and stuff like that. And barrow legions.
I'm not sure what these ones represent actually.
They're at the moment to represent like cultures in Vetia that were inspired or vassal to Naptesh, and when Naptesh was cursed and to undeath, they sort of got collateral damaged and got caught in it too, and so they are like sort of whites, like sort of overlapping a bit with Vampire Covenant, but like the more more independent than the whites of the Vampire Covenant, I guess.
because I think for Undying Dynasties, I would probably see something a little bit more like weird in a way. I think I would like something more specific. Like this supplement focuses on like a particular person or like a caster or like a priest, and this guy is really awful or really good at being a priest because when he resurrects skeletons, they retain their memories, that kind of thing. I like the idea of having like an army that has like skeleton stat lines, but they actually roll leadership tests. I don't know.
Like in Arm of Darkness, Evil Dead, when the skeletons run away. Let's get
Yeah, well, it's like I don't know, like something that makes them like you can mix like a human element with resurrecting people kind of thing, or like some competence, or like you could have some sort of weaponry, or I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of.
That's a good take actually. I think I saw it in another homebrew project. That's a good sort of source of inspiration. There was an Undying Dynasties book that had Edu horse archers as a living unit in the army. So like the Edu were vassals to Natesh and sort of incorporated into their culture and were like nomadic horse archers.
Because it's just like every army we have where it's undead, it's always like, oh yes, they are dumb and like they are stand and die, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
but
can we
using
have some-
Idu, you can like make Idu into the supplement, like a living Undying Dynasty's army.
yeah, but I don't mean like living. I just mean undead people.
Yeah, but I mean a
but-
living. I'm taking your idea and
I
converting it.
understand, like, it's just like,
Yeah, but no, that
I don't know how it would look, but I think that's something that could like create something new. Might be interesting, maybe. Like, but what it actually entails, I'm not sure. Like, because terracotta for me is just, it's not that. It's like, oh yes, the really durable infantry army.
yeah, but some supplements aren't like that much more than that. It's most like culture inspiration. A lot of them.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it doesn't have to be revolutionary.
no.
Yeah, and in terms of culture, you could add a lot of stuff for terracotta.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's just that I can't come to think of it. That's why I rely on you guys to do it.
And we hadn't thought of it, or at least I
Yeah,
hadn't
like,
thought that much.
I had to talk for the dwarves, so you guys could talk for the dying.
I wonder, like on the topic of like focusing on different undead cultures around the world, it would be cool with some sort of Aztec undead.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That-
kind of actually how I already envisioned on the dynasties. You know, very that kind of thing. Like I. That's probably because I have a friend who used to play online dynasties, and he made him like jungle undead dynasty.
Yeah, that army was really cool. I think I seen it on the
Yeah,
tournament
there
thing.
you go. Compared
Yeah.
to Therese Johnson.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it was already in my head, but I think that'd be really cool. Like they come out with gold and shit, and people be like, "Oh,
Yeah, and like they have the pyramids already, so like it fits the aesthetic.
Exactly. And you can have all these like I would really like it more if the Aztec army like they focus a lot more on curses and like
Yeah, that's
ancient like that kind of stuff. You know, like
yeah, and
kill this guy, get a curse. Look at
voodoo
this guy,
stuff
bomb, get a curse.
and stuff like that.
See this gold, get a curse. Something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a cool idea. All right. Shall we move on?
Absolutely.
Anyone
I
want
can
to?
take the next pick in that case. I was going to suggest Highborn Elves, and it's a supplement that's more like very specific. And once again, I tend to go into mechanics a lot, but I like the idea of a Highborn Elf supplement army based around diplomatic mission. Like you have this army that's supposed to be like an envoy to a different culture or something, like a different court or between courts in like princedom or whatever. So you have stuff, you have lighter war chargers, you can have spearmen, or like you have mobile, and you would have like this unit that is the diplomat perhaps. And my idea would be like you have this really weird specific rules like I can't remember. Is it also glamorous that come in like from a board edge with long ships?
Yeah, they have long ship raids.
So I love the idea that this highborn army is all about moving a specific model from one end to the other as a like separate objective kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like it's probably going to be a nightmare to balance, but I love the idea of like having an army that's like, oh, this is the army, and I think would make for really like cinematic fights, because then if you face someone else, it turns into a story immediately all of its own. Like, oh shit, the orcs and goblins are here to kill the emissary, or whatever.
I think I have the perfect like fluff for this as well. Like,
oh, good.
The Highborn Elves are like the most trading dominant faction in the game. And
Yeah,
exactly. I think they have like a East India company.
Yeah, I had the same idea also.
Yeah, like a variant on that. So just call I can't remember the name of it, but use that name and yes.
Sagarika.
That's the name of that's the name of India. But I think the company has a name as well, but I can't recall that. But Sagarika is the subcontinent of India.
Yeah, but I think some of that might be really cool, because it could mean you could create some new units, and you could have a supplement that has like a unique win objective, or like it might be easy to design an army where it's like the army should be about moving this guy here. If he dies, the opponent gets extra victory points. If you manage to with the mission, you get extra victory points. That kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, like cultists had that as well. They had like a separate objective type for a while at least. I'm not sure if it's kept, but they had this with you could select a unit to be witch hunters, and if you kill them, you get a bonus.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good space to explore.
I think so, because it would make then the army would be like interesting, and you could have like it's more niche, but it's also like, oh well, 9th Age automatically creates stories when you play it, and I think that's kind of cool. Because otherwise, it just becomes, well, it can become at least just fight here, go take objective B, done kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it would also like for example, the player would have to create like the diplomat or the tradesman, and that would become a little like, I don't know what the word is, galionsfigur, or like head. Like just the creation of the army itself would like create a little narration or a story, I think.
Yeah, that's good. All right, more on highborn elves. Did I have any ideas for those? Yeah, like the highborn elves are mostly just the Arandai in the fluff, but there could be other other elven cultures that go under the umbrella term highborn elves. So maybe they could pick some of those up. I don't know of any in the setting, but they like hinted that there might exist some. So that could be a way forward. And also they could pick up one of the regions of the main island, Kalida Ablan, and focus on like the Rima and have like a dragon knight themed stuff. I think that would be my pick for a theme really focus in on the dragons and the knights. Would be cool.
Yeah, and a dragons are sick. I'm just trying to wonder if like, would they have like only big dragons? Would they have like dragon breeders? Like would they have like little small?
I think they would at least have a monstrous cavalry unit that's riding dragons, like small dragons, probably flying as well. So they could have every step of a dragon's journey covered in some sort of way. Maybe have small dragons instead of eagles and stuff like that.
That's cool actually.
I know it's a theme that a lot of elf players go with for their army, and could be nice to focus in on that in a book as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. Dragons are fucking sick.
Yeah, dragons are fucking sick. And I haven't painted a dragon. I don't have any dragons.
No. Fuck. I mean, fuck painting dragons. Dragons are cool. I'm not gonna paint one. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I have so many miniatures. I've painted so many armies, but I don't have any dragons. I don't know why. It hasn't happened.
I actually just received a huge one, but I'm not going to paint it anytime soon. I have no clue where to start.
I have a big undead dragon in a box, really, really big. So that's gonna be a project someday. But I have no living dragons. I have no plans for any either. I need to get a dragon. All right. Whose turn it is? Is it Idum?
Well, yours or Cedric's?
Oh, I can take a pick. Did we talk about the vampire counts already?
We have not.
Because we talked about the other dead people.
Yeah, so hit us. What's the... I have a lot of ideas about this, but I want to hear yours first.
I had two big let's say, sets of ideas. One is the very common vampire boat pirates.
Oh, that I hadn't thought of. All right, cool.
Yeah, there's a few movies with a similar theme, but
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
there are big
fun enough.
thing in Warhammer Total War as well.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
So there are a ton of models, and maybe it could go in a more maybe voodoo type or something a little more like what
Pirates of the
true
Caribbean.
Caribbean culture.
There you go,
yeah,
there. The Curse of the
yes,
Black Pearl, that kind of shit is cool. It's
yeah.
super cool.
That's a good call. Hadn't thought of that.
You know, my friend Gabriel Alphonse, he made a whole vampire army with a pirate theme. I wish I
Yeah,
had easy pictures for you, but it's really cool.
yeah,
Great idea. It's actually super cool. I like it, and I think there's like there would be an undead kraken, for example, as a centerpiece, that kind of thing. Like
yeah.
it's super sick. Um, and I imagine like maybe they could create lakes on the battlefield, and like zombies could come up out of the lakes, and you could have all these like different.
Should they have a flying boat
Of course, duh, you know,
sailing
of
across
course,
the
of
battlefield?
course. A flying Dutchman, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and have that be like a troop transport of sorts, so you can like jump out of it with units. That would be
Something like
awesome.
that.
I have no idea how to make the rules work in a good way for that, but like it has to be done. All right.
That's a great idea. I really like that a lot. What was the second one, Cedric?
It was more about the living subject of the vampires because well, they're vampires. They need people to drink and eat, so they probably have a cult or they maintain something. I
Yeah.
had in mind that they rule probably over a land or something, or people work with them somehow. So focusing on this kind of living and undead unity or union or something.
Yeah, I like that a lot as well.
Yeah.
I always imagined them as having like a bond with the kingdom of Aquitaine, actually,
Yeah. The old,
because
old Dark King, Giles de Raux, was probably a vampire, so there is definitely a connection.
I was thinking like
Slight connection, yeah.
A slight
well,
connection.
I was thinking more like because I always imagine like imagine this really like I don't know like nice countryside, but like the lords are remote from the peasants and the villages, and it's like oh the lords are night all the time, never seen them in daylight, you know, kind of you know how noble people are, right? You know.
Yeah, and they live forever as all other
Is
noble
it the
people
same
do.
everywhere?
Yeah, but it's like I love the idea that like they like some people the higher up you get in the society, the more in the know you are that the people are undeads, for example. Like and maybe like I just imagine like one unit of zombies going next to peasants, and the peasants look just as bad as the zombies.
Oh
Like, wow,
yes.
those guys are rough, and you don't know who you're talking about. I can imagine
Yes.
that, like maybe, like, or maybe or they could be fully like conscious about it, but like maybe these humans don't have like if I was a human and a guy was like, "Hey, I can conscript you to the army, or I can raise your grandpa," I'd be like, "Go, grandpa," you know, like. So it's like maybe they are like, oh yeah, you raise the people, that's fine. Like they
Yeah.
can work in the fields, they can I don't know. Like I like that idea a lot, and I think that's explored like the way society works. So like you have these like blood knights mixing with the knightly orders, and it could be all these different knightly orders for the vampire knights and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can nicely mix a few existing books and so on.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. So my ideas for Vampire Covenant. Um, the first one is hinging on a big change for the main book, and that's the removal of the bloodlines from the main book.
Okay.
And then you get a mono sin variant of the supplement that has 5 different paths for each of the different bloodlines, and really focusing in on them. So
Okay.
you would have, instead of having bloodline and blood power, you would have in the main book you would have a big pool of blood powers, you can pick and choose and build your own vampire a lot more. And then in the supplement, in the bloodline supplement, each bloodline is limited to a few of these blood powers, and they have one or two unique that they can take, and a few rules associated with their bloodline as well. And then the vampire knights are all unique, and then they have one or two unique units for each bloodline. Probably just one for each bloodline.
I was gonna say, Cedric, are we gonna allow Mad to just turn him, like, say, oh, I'm gonna make the main book into a supplement, and the main book changes? Like, is that okay?
I make the rules here. I am the law.
It's like, oh yes, my Dwarven Hold supplement is Dwarven Hold's book, but now it's a supplement. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm messing with you.
It's fine.
It's like, oh yes, the main book changes. I was like, okay, there we go. But I get you.
I'm thinking outside the box. I don't think this is very likely. I'll say that much, but I would like it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I get you like specifying on a specific aspect a lot, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's sensible as well. So you have like a
if I were to make a more sensible pick for an army, it's a ghost army, a ghost supplement. All the ghosts.
Yeah, I think that would be so cool. I like it, and there's a lot of models for it as well.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, like, how would that work rules-wise? Would it be different anyway, or?
Like, it would be super sensitive to magic. Everything has ages save against non-magic stuff, and like if you come up with something.
I imagine it's like either you go all in on that thing, and the book is like super volatile, or you ignore it, but then some of the flavor is gone, kind of.
Yeah, but it's fine to have a super volatile supplement book. We could come up against demons and everything just crumbles.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I like it. And I mean, like, then you could have a Flying Dutchman there again, like a ghost ship coming in. And we got it.
Yeah. Yeah, could definitely be tricky to balance, but yeah. a lot of cool models and a cool theme, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, it can be like in what is their name in the Lord of the Rings? This army of ghosts. They're not OP at all. They just ruin everything. And
Now imagine the dwarves no, not the dwarves, the orcs standing there in the battlefield shouting OP.
As a book reader,
what do we do now?
That's not what happens in the books, you guys. Canon, okay. May I suggest the next book in that case? Or was it was my turn, I think?
Yeah,
sure. I won't stop you.
I think you just stole Matt's turn, but yeah.
No, it's Matt's turn actually. You're correct. I got mixed up. Matt, this new book.
I thought I could get away with it. Let's see. Let's go with Worm and Swarm. And like again, they have these houses in the book, and I'm not saying it to break them out, but I think focusing in on one of the houses would be a cool thing. So like the Sikara, the assassins, would be my choice to make a whole book about, and make it like everything is ambushing and stealthy and super finicky with different kinds of jumping around stuff and smoke and mirrors and all of that. You never know where they are, and they strike from the shadows, and really super annoying.
I'm not really aware of what is the real world inspiration for the Vermin Swarm, as per their latest.
I mean, they are Romans.
I was gonna say people, you know.
but like the inspiration for this supplement would of course be ninjas instead.
Yeah.
Roman ninjas. That's a cool thing.
Because I was gonna make a joke and say like, oh, this supplement is about them hiding, so we don't have to play against them, pretty much, I guess. if I like the thing is though, like I wish there was another way to make like a supplement that was just not like, oh yes, one of the factions. Like, is there a way we can reimagine them that's interesting? Like,
Not sure I follow.
Like Spartans.
so for example, I would like to do an army of vermin swarm that doesn't have the insane leadership. For example, like I think rats should be scurrying about. Is it possible to make a supplement where they actually do a fuck ton of running? I guess, or like where they. I guess the thing about vermin swarm to me is they feel kind of elite leadership wise. They can make really strong leadership units.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is
And I
something
like
that's
that
gonna
you-
change in the main in the next book that's coming. I think that's one of the
I think
themes
so.
they're really focused on.
Yeah, because I would like them to make an army that has fleeing as an expected part of like battle strategy and like theme.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So it would be like a mix of what you're saying, like you would have these tactics that are about diversion and tricks and stuff, but it's not like actually grinding it out like an undead army or like a dwarf army or whatever. It's more
Yeah.
like go in, nibble away, hit hard, or run away, and then maybe come back. Maybe I don't know, but probably not.
Yeah. Um,
Like I don't know, like having rats that flee off, come back from the board's edge, that kind of thing. Later on, I don't know, like
Maybe like
obviously
infinite
balance.
swarm or something like that. Like you kill a unit.
yeah, send in
back.
send in the next wave.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that, because
That could be cool.
the vermin swarm doesn't feel like rats to me, like phonetically in that sense. Like they're not
Yeah.
cowardly; they're actually really, really durable and strong.
But that's a problem with the main book, and
Yeah.
let's assume they fix that.
Well, I mean,
And
wow.
if they do that, if they fix that, we could make a supplement that turns it on its head. These are the disciplined vermin instead.
But now,
The Spartans vermin.
Yeah, I think there's some fluff about like part of the old empire survived in the north, so there are some actual parts of the vermin empire left. So that could be the fluff behind this disciplined rat army. But we could have them inspired by Spartans for sure, but they wouldn't be geographically representative of them. They have Roman inspiration in the Dreadels, and they are not nowhere near Rome, so it's fine. All right. The other thing I thought about for the Vermin Swarm is to focus on the religion again. They have the Plague Bringer religion, so focus an army on disease and all of that stuff. Not sure how you would represent that mechanic wise. Maybe like they have
I know
a lot
exactly.
of debuffs and stuff like that.
No. I know exactly how the entire army dies for turn 6. Like, and I'm only semi kidding. I love the idea of an army that dies at turn 6.
Yeah, so they just go all in. They have nothing to lose.
Like, exactly. Like you have to go all in, and the objective is to like win on objective or some shit. Like I don't know.
Yeah, they have to really mess up with the way of winning the game.
Yeah, like I think that's kind of what like the way I want to see supplements is like, oh no, the army really turns something on its head, or it's a really new way of playing, or like it becomes a story mode or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah, but obviously that would also be a nightmare to balance. Like maybe, maybe you could have like the characters live because they are like the plague.
Yeah, maybe just some unit would be like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the whole.
Yeah, you could have like a big special rule, and a lot of units have it that they die, but not necessarily everything. Make it a big part of the army. That's cool.
Because that would be a really strong plague theme. I feel like they just toss plague dudes at you.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Oh, maybe they could have some kind of like it would be a kind of curse or something disease that turn 6 they die, and don't know if they get engaged with enemies, they can transmit this through to the enemy or something like that.
Yeah.
all of their units are infected, and then
Yeah,
they
or
have a chance
maybe
of
like
spreading
within
it.
a very small range. As
Yeah.
soon as you're within 2 inches of a unit, they get infected as well, or something like
Yeah,
that.
or has a chance of being infected, and if you
Yeah.
infect something, then they die at the end, or count half at least, or something like that.
So if your enemy is too close with each of his units, it can also spread within his own army by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool, like-
That could be cool.
Yeah, but that could be like a thing. Like if any units below 25% are automatically killed, for example, because the plague dictates
Yeah,
them.
and
for
if
example.
it's above, then you get half. It counts as being below 25. Or something
Can be
like
that's
that.
cool, yeah.
I like that. That's a cool thing. So there's a whole new like mechanic to it, or a whole new theme or feel to it.
Yeah. All right, I really like that. I think I like that a lot more than my original idea with Roman ninjas. I think that could work too, but I like it better.
Roman ninjas are cool too.
All right. I think it could be a pretty limited army, that one, but plague definitely. Okay, Squig, your pick.
Yeah, so I'll go with Sylvanovs.
Another one that I
I'll be
have
cheating.
very few ideas for, so go ahead.
Damn it! All right, I'll be cheating a little bit again. I haven't written a suggestion for it, but the way I've made my army is already kind of how I imagine. Like, I'll admit I know no Sylvanov lore. There's a whole book about it. I know nothing about the book, pretty much.
All right.
But they are pretty savage, I guess. They are
Yeah,
not really.
they have such elements.
Yeah. So I think a supplement that I would like to see is a sort of cannibalistic cult, or like a druid, kind of cult with blood sacrifice, heart eating. I'll eat your flesh because I want your strength, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that is all about like, well, if you talk like a thing, melee combat, getting into grips, and like having this thing about devouring. So kill or be killed, for example, like it's the strongest one lives. So once again, I'll talk about mechanics, but like I love the idea of an army that counts. Like let's say every time a unit dies, any unit dies, for example, they go stronger, or they get more resource, or something
Also steal
happens.
one of the characteristic or something.
Yeah, exactly. So like as the battle becomes more and more bloody, they revel in it and they become stronger, and like it's just exciting, and you get this really feel of like, oh, we are eating them up and they're getting better and they are doing this and this and this and this, and this animalistic side of what it is to be in the forest. I guess that kind of thing.
Yeah. Stealing characteristics, and then they come up against a deceiver of Kolima, and the game breaks. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
They die.
I guess, but it's like
Sorry.
Oh, it's like if they eat them, they can integrate their strength or their resistance or number of attacks or agility, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no.
Like I think that kind of thing is really cool, because I like stuff that feels like something happens while you're playing, or you make choices, or even if your units die, something funny or positive happens. And I think that's pretty fun. Like you can do more crazy shit in a supplement.
Yep.
And like feeling good about your army dying, because that means your last 2-3 units of like bloody teeth super berserkers are doing well. I don't know. It's like it's like I could even imagine like something super weird, like you have certain units that can, like you could charge your own units. I thought that could,
Yeah.
I think that could be really interesting. Like I don't know if you ever played War Machine, either of you, War Machine Hordes.
No.
I have a fully painted warband. Never played it.
So like the way that game works is it's very like it doesn't make a difference between friend or foe.
You can throw your own dudes at other dudes.
Exactly. You can do like you can attack your own dudes. You can do whatever. It's very rules complex, and very. I'm not gonna say rules abusive, because it's like that's how it's meant to be played. But plays are based around creative thinking. Like
Yeah.
I used to have this model called the worm tree, and everything that died within range of it, for example, it would suck up souls. So a common tactic would be to ally in really cheap, like pig units, come up around the tree, and then kill them off at an opportune moment. And I think that
Like a
kind of thing could be.
sacrifice.
Yeah, it's like it works. It's kind of fun and cool, and I
Yeah.
think that kind of feeling is what I would like in a Civil Elf Army supplement.
Yeah. I wonder if
It re-
background-wise there's room for this with one of the gods. You can make like a cult of Nib or something like that, and make it work. I think
yeah,
that's
that's the weakness of my suggestion. I don't know how to root it in the fluff because I
yeah.
don't know that.
But I think it works with a fluff. There are those aspects of the Sylvan Elves, like the wild huntsmen are pretty wild.
Yeah, they
And,
were pretty wild, but they're like
and they are connected to Caderon, but you can have like instead connected to another god of the Sylvan Elves. There are quite a few to choose from.
But basically, I love this stuff where you have like antlers and you have people in like wolf skins and they're like basically savages pretty much.
Yeah.
And druids standing in stone circles. That's also pretty sick.
Yeah. And shapeshifters could go in
Exactly.
there as well.
That kind of fun. All of
like I'm thinking of the art of the shapeshifter in the book, which is one of the best artworks in the project.
Yes.
I think
it is absolutely.
I really love that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That book is insane.
My only idea for Sylvan Elves was pretty simple. All the trees, an army of trees. But again, you can very much do that already with the book.
I think that like the natural thing would be like all tree spirits, dryads.
Yeah, but you can already do. You even have all of you have dryads and thicket beast and the tree father, and all of those even have character options. One even has two character options, so you are covered. Everything is covered. So I'm not sure what the supplement would do.
I think the supplement would play super hard around forests.
Yeah, like
they could have two forests.
Placing forest.
Placing forest, moving forest even under other units.
Yeah.
And really relying on forest manipulation. I think that would be actually sick.
Yeah, that's cool.
It might be really annoying to play with and against because it's like a lot of forests, but I think it's really like you could probably introduce like one or two new units, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or just go with like the forests become units themselves. I don't know. It could be super weird if you like.
Yeah.
I mean that could be. I think it's a natural one. There's models to support it as well.
Yeah, it feels very natural, but again, I am not sure if there's enough to make it into a supplement, but it could be done definitely.
What I had in mind for the Sylvan Elf was a little similar to what you mentioned, Squig, with a sort of little game inside where they have maybe a big tree that they should keep alive at all costs.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe have an Amazon theme or something like Guardians of the Tree or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. I like that a lot, actually. That's really cool. Introducing a new mechanic, and it's tree based, and you have like Amazons. That's great. Actually, that's really good. Yeah. Do you imagine like would a tree be like in the deployment zone, or would it be like?
It would make more sense in the deployment zone, but it would be more fun in the middle.
Yeah.
No, I love the idea of like popping down a world tree in the middle of the playing field, and you just go like, "Oh, this is the world tree. Here we go." it's not going to be a great design again, but I love the idea of this like tree.
And if there is any terrain piece there, just yeet it. It's gone.
I think that's a super cool idea as well.
Yeah, no, it could work.
All right, then it's Cedric up next, I believe, on the next Iron book.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll stay in the forest with the beasts.
Ooh.
Beast herds.
Good choice.
So for these ones, I was thinking maybe about something like Tengus. It's this kind of Japanese birdman or something.
Ah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of models available, and you can do some nice stuff. Instead of ambushing from the sides, they could maybe ambush from somewhere
Above.
else, like they fly
Yeah.
from the sky. And
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Is it like a whole? Do you imagine it as like a vanguard or like a scouting party, or is it like a whole, like
Yeah.
sky covering flock of birds coming to someone? Like, is it a whole army in itself? You think?
Yeah, why not? They could all fly. Maybe they don't fly so much after when they're on the battlefield because too tired. They fly already one time.
Yeah.
Unless they have a big armor and so on. So
Yeah,
maybe it can be a
and
very
maybe they
limited.
could like drop down and drop
Yeah.
non-flying units as well. So they come and you get one of the non-flying units, and then you get a flying unit next to it when you scout or when you ambush.
But wouldn't it be cool as fuck to have that kind of army, and you just completely say so? Normally, you have a deployment zone, yours and opponents, and you have a no man's field. What if the opponent gets to deploy in no man's field, and the Tango player gets to use both deployment zones to arrive?
That's cool.
It fucks with all scenarios, obviously, but it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Yeah, really diving in on the ambushing aspect, and cool theme for it too with the bird people. Awesome.
That's a great idea as well, man.
I think one of the limitations is that it's, but maybe not. It feels like it would require like every unit be unique. Or could you like slot in like the wild horns and stuff like that in it as well?
No. All birds.
All birds.
Yeah.
All birds. I mean, if we disregard viability, like you could slot in eagles. I'm sure. Like you could eagles, tengus. You could have small tengus like infantry. They're coming with wings. You could have like flying shooters in skirmish. You could have monsters. I know there's huge birds. You could have like I know War Machine Horde models have plenty of bird models, for example, like big ones, medium ones, small ones. You could have normal birds like ravens coming in, like a swarm maybe. I don't know. Like I'm sure.
And if flying
I'm
chariots.
Sure I think flying chariots are really stupid.
Well, there's one in the
Crushbuster.
Like I don't get it, but I mean you could. I used to imagine that. I think a chariot is like. I think like that it implies civilization to me. Like someone actually crafted this thing. Like, but what I meant in Tengus is more like squawk. Fuck 'em up.
They don't have
ravens
stuff, so...
are really intelligent.
I mean, the difference is like they like. I mean, in my head, it's your idea, and I'm like, yeah, but in my universe, you know, I imagine the Tengu like loot armor, and so they like take on your armor. But no motherfucker ever made a chariot made to fly, so they can't like loot it, you know.
Take it from the Hibern elves.
Yeah, but that's it's dumb. Damn it! I don't get it.
Triggered.
I really imagine that kind of army wouldn't have like ranked infantry. It would try to pick off units and then come in like scavengers and surround it and not fight what they shouldn't, I guess.
Yeah, they would have zero grinding power.
It's like I don't know. That's also really cool. I like that a lot. That's actually I think tonight that's my favorite one. Like the deployment thing and birds as part of the Beastman army.
It's the most unique, definitely. I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, although I think Cedric, I imagine them as really savage. Like basically, it's like coming in like a pack. I think Cedric imagines them more civilized, possibly. Well, we're not civilized.
Yeah.
But craft armor and stuff. Possibly.
Steel armor is nice too.
Because the Tengu usually come with like they actually look pretty good. You know, they have cool armor and hats and spears and things. That could be totally a thing as well.
Yep.
That's good. That's good shit.
All right. Another idea for the beast herds, and this is connected to the fluff. In the fluff, there are war herds, which is what the normal armies are, the beast herds, which are roaming bands of beasts that go around, and they circle the hidden herd, which is where the young and the women and the old live. And I imagine a supplement for the hidden herd, for the rare cases where an army managed to find its way to the hidden herd and actually gets to fight that.
That's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
It's like my supplement is all the women and children getting killed.
and
nice modeling options.
The idea here is that it would have a big core requirement, and the core would suck.
Yeah.
And maybe the special or rare would be absolutely brutal because you expect
the hidden herds in the fluff are protected by the most powerful wizards and the biggest monsters. So it's an army of worthless core and insane monsters and magic.
Yeah, but like the core is only made out of kids.
And after the kids, women.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, great, good stuff, man. It's like, oh yeah, my first supplement army is the conquistadors as they invade Native America.
Welcome to the real world.
My second tradition is all the women and the children getting killed. Oh, and there's a wizard somewhere, you know. No, sorry. I think that's a great idea, actually. I love that there's like. Like,
yes.
like the supplement is just like a political commentary on how horrible war is. It's like, oh, Knife Age took a really dark turn right there.
Yep. That's the way I like it. I do have children in my Empire Sonnenstahl army, so.
There you go.
It's true. I remember that. It's horrible. Children in the Imperial Guards, or
no, it's part of the giant diorama. She is friends with one of the giants and
friend.
Friend. They bonded, and then wherever she goes, the giant follows, and they go to battle. All right. Anything else on the beast herds?
No, I can't top the Tango one. It's too good. And I can't top the children and women style.
Well, in the fluff, actually, there were a few mentions about in Tafria. I think it's some human kingdom who has like beasts as god, and they would pray with totems and so on. So I was thinking maybe this kind of mixed army with humans as core, and they could have like powerful beasts, a little bit like cultists and demons. Same kind of approach, basically, but with beasts.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm wondering, like, how is that different from just having beasts? Like when you play, I mean, isn't just like, aren't humans kind of beast stat wise-ish? Something like
that's philosophical now.
Am I
beast?
Oh, there you go. It's like I imagine it more like maybe you could have like these druids that summon beasts as a part of the gameplay. Like they probably have like these little druid circles, and they summon beasts to pop out of like summoning circles, maybe, or like I don't know, like maybe the guy creates all the monsters, maybe like that kind of thing.
It can be doable with cultists, in fact. Just change their skin, replace the demon by beasts.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think we have that many armies left. Let's see here.
No, I'm just really worried about
What? What
just
was
worried
that?
what you're going to suggest next. You're like, oh, the Dread Elves. Yes, the slaver settlement army. You know?
Yes, because I said that, I'm gonna go with something different and go Sauron Ancients.
So my supplement book is them getting invaded by conquistadors, you know?
my choice for them would actually be the super monster mashiest army of all monsters. um, not really sure how to theme it. I know, like, it's the Sauron Ancients. I don't know that much about their fluff. It's
No.
they're very old and they've been around and they're very weird. But I just
I
want an
think they
army.
were
I'll show
at the
you.
very beginning. There was the overlords for all the
Yeah,
other
they
nations.
enslaved everything.
I was gonna say, like, are you
Here
going
we are
after
again.
Are you
Back to
going
slavery.
after the seniors now, man? Are you going after the seniors?
The oldest of the lizards are only in this army. They are big monsters.
They
All of
barely
them.
walk, you know, like, and then these models come, you know. No, that's, I think, like, maybe it's like typical, but like a skink monster army, like no Saurus in sight, no Slanin, like
Yeah.
that kind of thing, maybe. Like they skinks in their monsters, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty. Like I think that's really good model wise. Like you have so many things you can go with for an army like that.
Yeah. That's true.
Not only dinosaurs, but absolutely anything and everything. Like, you know, cockatrice, and you can have like a Praeton or any monster in lore you can come to think of would be really cool.
Yeah.
I think, like, I like, I don't know the fluff that much, but I think I like some sort of focus on snakes, for example. But I don't know how much, like, model wise there is, or what kind of supplement that would be. You know, if it was like snake monsters.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Merce has a lot of like Naga type, like human torso and snake body.
Yeah, that was actually my idea also for Saurians.
Cool.
Something about Naga, but inspired maybe by Southeastern Asian cultures, like
Yeah.
Indonesian or Malay. And
Yeah, that's a good call. That way we can spread them out a bit over the world, which is always needed.
and it could go into the snake territory and Naga. And
Yeah, I think there is on the map there is a Saurian.
There is.
Outpost somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's called Aotearoa.
All right.
And it's straight in these islands southeast of Tuandan.
Yeah. All right, then snakes of the southeast, the perfect army.
What will they be doing? Are they like, so do they slither around, or are they super cold-blooded? I mean, it's like, how will they?
Maybe a really fast army, like going again on the cavalry aspect of some of the supplements. So a lot of fast units.
Like maybe they can climb over impassable, for example, at the beginning, like they are good maneuvering terrain, for example.
Yeah, Strider everything, including impassable.
Like maybe
that would be insane.
Like Ghost Step would be the rule for it, but not aptly named.
Like maybe you could turn fields into swamps or like marshes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe they're really good at manipulating terrain, so they can fight in their natural environments, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. All right. Next, Ogre Cons we haven't talked about. The only like one fluff aspect I can see with this is that in the fluff there were once 5 ogre kingdoms, and they were split up, and I think 2 of them migrated to the Sky Mountains and settled there, and the 3 remaining, they continued living a nomadic life. So maybe the full book focuses on the settled ogres, and we can supplement for the nomadic ogres. Maybe. I'm not really sure what that would entail rules wise. Perhaps again more mobile, agile units, a sort of avoidance type play. I'm not sure.
I have an idea that basically they're kind of mercenaries a lot, right?
Yep.
Like raiders, mercenaries, yeah.
Yep.
But they are a mercenary company, and you focus a lot on the aspect of they're all freaking mercenaries and all they want is gold, pretty much. Like this dude who has a big bunch of money, like he starts the game like with 500 gold, let's say, whatever.
Yeah.
And the army from the onset is underpowered to spend his gold to make the army do shit. I imagine like the goal is victory points. Like if he sits on all the victory points, he's gonna get 500 of them.
All right.
You better pay those mercenaries because otherwise they're not gonna. And I love like shoot costs money, charge costs money, or whatever. Like so.
You know the price of the powder? It's not free.
No, but I really love the idea of like this ogre player like rolling up, and he actually like tournaments as a dwarf player. I bring, for example, and if I lose a game, they have to write in it. I'm sorry, Cedric. If they have to, so I can avenge it. And I love the idea of an ogre player coming with a supplement and he just has the box and it's full of gold coins and he has to ship them out every time he does something, Pay this, win this, charge here, rally here, like it's like. I think that would be really fun to like. I don't know. Once again, maybe it's a lot really contrived. Mercenary fun thing would be really fun, Like maybe it's opposite. Like maybe every unit in the army has frenzy because they want to get loot and he has to pay them to not charge. It's like I don't know. I think that could be interesting.
Like you have to pay for your army at first, and then you have to keep points that you will use after, and having your army obey you.
Yeah, exactly. And you could include like some human elements, I'm sure. Like for example, if you want to mix up mercenaries. Mercenaries come all over the place. Orcs as well, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Maybe you could even have elves, and elves are really fucking expensive because they have really expensive, like, I don't know, they eat fine dining, who knows how much it costs to be an elf.
No elves allowed.
Really unique experience. Like you can have, or like, unit you can have, but like if you feel them, they're gonna be like lost, so we're just gonna stand there and literally watch. That kind of thing. And would also make it interesting because maybe sometimes it's better to let the unit die than pay it,
Yeah. Or maybe if you don't pay, they immediately start running. You have to keep paying them, or they just vamoose. I think ogre counts might be one of the trickiest ones. Like you could do scraplings, perhaps, but that's a bit boring. It's like goblins light, and we already have hobgoblins too. So yeah.
I saw a lot of models about pirate ogres as well, which I think are
true.
cool. And it could be linked to some, maybe I don't know, maybe inspired by the whale hunters of anywhere where whale hunters, except of whales, maybe they hunt like ancient huge creatures that they can have to come with them to the battlefield or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
keeping with the cruelty theme that we have going.
Maybe it's great ancients. Maybe it's Cthulhu creatures like, and they're just doing good things.
Yeah, let's not mix in whaling with that. Yeah, but it sounds like a cool theme. It could be another one that's really monster focused.
Yeah, for whaling, I meant the aesthetics of the guys and their lifestyle mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it can work for sure. All right. I think we have only one army left, and that's the Dread Elves. Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah.
Any of you have any ideas for them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, raiders, slavers, that kind of thing. Go with the
Yeah.
focus on
thinking
raiders. But it's so.
Yeah.
I wish I could come up with a better theme. Like, I'm sure there's other avenues you could explore. Like,
So I'm thinking of slaves, but more like the freed one, like Maroons, who set up their own state, maybe worked loosely with some fringe elements of Dread Elf, like outcasts.
Yeah.
This kind of elves that are not integrated in their society. They could have their own, like, republic or a small state hidden somewhere in Spexia.
That's way better. That's way cool. Like a little city state.
Yeah, and give back power to these slaves.
Yeah.
That's actually nice.
Like,
that's not like they're not good at two shoes, but they believe maybe a bit more in independency, or like they're independent, or
the southern states.
no. But it's like I meant more like you know how necessarily evil in the sense that Dread Elves stand there and they go like, but they could believe a lot in like I don't know, pulling you up. Like I don't know how to explain it really, but
I think there's room, for this kind of more nuanced approach.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I prefer as well.
I wonder if the Warlock Outcast could fit into that, because they are already ostracized from the Dread Elf Society a lot. So they could have a heavy magic aspect in this sub-faction as well.
Yeah, I think they wouldn't mind just, well, they're not part of the society, as you say, so
yeah,
doesn't matter what they do after. They're powerful, so they come back sometimes, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they would play. Like, would they be like would they be like a real mix of all elven kinds, or would it be like a mainly Dread Elf style, or how they play? Maybe I'm just tumbling too hard on it.
It would be more in the avoidance, because if there are not that many, being more rare or more fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they maybe aren't that disciplined in that sense. Like they fight in ranks, maybe not.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I think.
What kind of? Go ahead.
I think you could do a variant, a naval variant here as well, like we talked about with the Hybern Elves. So like you said, raiders, but focus a lot on ambushing and stuff like that. Could be done. But maybe we've hit on that aspect too much.
Yeah, like it's just sometimes the choice is so obvious. It's kind of not fun, you know. But I like this one a lot. And once again, it will also allow people to mix and match the collections a bit more, which I think is like a good thing if you can. Like mix in more elves, for example.
Yep. All right. Shall we wrap this up?
Yeah.
We've been going on for a good while now.
Sure.
I think we have had a lot of good ideas, though.
Yeah. Which one was your favorite? I want to hear your favorites.
For me, it was the vermin swarms that can contaminate stuff.
Yeah, that one was nice. The flying beast herds already been said that we liked. They were really cool. Let's see. What are your thoughts, Squig? What was your favorite?
I think I was gonna say the beast herds, but you stole it, dang it. Because I like that one. You have to paymaster as well, and it's kind of weird. I mean, it's a bit cheap to say my own idea was really great, but I like it mainly because you can bring a visual aspect to the table with the gold coins, and I just, that kind of thing I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this kind of resource management is interesting to bring.
Good, you know, like?
To bring dynamically in the game. I like it a lot also.
Yeah. The pirate vampires I think could be cool too.
Yeah.
So
I'd say also Sudik's idea about mixing vampire counts. That thing has a lot of potential. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah.
Like making it a real society where it's part of it and not just, again, everyone's mindless and undead and stuff.
Yeah. All right. Let's check up on the painting. How have you been doing, Idun?
Well, I've done their horns.
All right. Yeah, it's something.
Well, I did the clothing, horns, and nails and this kind of parts. I don't like it. It's like if I'm not progressing at all.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
keep at it. Squig?
Show us the drawings.
No. You go first, Matt. You go first.
All right, if you insist. Gotten pretty far with the orc.
Oh, nice.
Painted
Oh,
his
that's so
skin
nice.
and his hat.
I love his face. His face is amazing.
Haven't painted the eyes yet. That was just about to do that, but that's a bit tricky to do on camera. But he's getting there, which is nice. All right, time for the drawings.
Yes, I'm gonna upload it to Imager and link you to it.
You could share screen instead if you want.
Since this is a laptop and I'm painting on my desktop.
All right, then send us a link.
Yep. It didn't turn out too bad at all, actually. It's quite alright.
Where are you sending it?
I should send it. Like, where should I send it?
There's a chat in the in the meeting. You can send it there.
Okay, just give me a sec. I need to upload it and then link it.
And I can add that the audience is very welcome to share their progress as well if they've been painting during the show.
Almost ready. Yes, give me a second. Let's see. You said it was something I could put in Teams, you said? On chat?
Yeah, I wrote.
Up there.
Do you see it?
I see it. I just need to paste apparently. Let's see. Work.
Here we go.
Let's send it.
And then
Hopefully the link works.
it seems to work. It looks like a dwarf.
I should hope so, damn it.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
no progress
is it
made
for
on.
the Rune Priest supplement?
Looks so.
Some of that. And I mean, painting any models, so I mean that's not great, but at least I have my concept art ready for the army book, you
Yeah,
know. So
that's great. I like his face.
yeah, actually, I'm happy with your like the good part about beard is not having to draw the face.
Yeah, you can hide a lot of detail. That's true. All right. Then I guess all that remains is for me to thank you, both of you, for coming on. I think this has been great. Really enjoyed chatting about this. And to the project, I saw that Marco was watching earlier at least. Feel free to swipe ideas if we had anything good. We have a roadmap here for all of the factions, so you can create the sub factions. All right, and to the audience, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Yeah. Have a nice weekend.
Cheers.